G'day and welcome to Work Gateways. My name is Quinn and today I'm super excited to welcome two guests onto the show. I've got with me Lucy Stevenson and Peter Melrose, and they're from a company called Carmichael UK. And the reason why I'm so excited to have them on the show is they're from a company that is really good at helping people from overseas. They've got a long history doing that. They also help people from Britain, but they really are specialists at, just looking after everything in terms of somebody coming from overseas. And better than that, Lucy and Pete are actually from overseas themselves. So we're going to get some great information. You're going to want to grab a notepad. But first of all, let's meet Lucy and Pete. How you going, guys?
Hi, Quinn.
Hello, Quinn. How you going?
Thanks.
Awesome, man. And yeah, I just wanted to, for the benefit of everybody watching, I just wanted to get a little bit of your story. Peter, do you want to go?
I'm from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I studied at Otago University, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts. Decided to move to London a couple of years ago. I got introduced to Carmichael from my partner, who is an engineer, and then I just fell into recruitment. So very lucky to be working with such a great company.
Awesome. Pete?
Yeah, I'm fairly similar. I Kiwi as well. Studied down in Otago. I did a Bachelor of Surveying. After spending sort of 3 or 4 years in Aussie, sort of made the standard trip over here, do the OE for a couple of years. Was working out in the field and sort of got a bit bloody cold for me, so I gave one of my recruiters a call at Carmichael's, and here I am today, behind one of the desks, doing the same sort of stuff.
Fantastic. Sounds like you're in Aussie for too long then.
Yeah, I think so, mate. Got too used to it. Picked up the slang as well.
Yeah, what's it like? I mean, I guess in the last 5 years or so, it's been pretty interesting times. I know you both haven't been there that long, but even the last little while, what's the current economy like and the market for the types of people that you're after?
Well, things are definitely picking up. I remember when I was still back in New Zealand, a lot of people, thought we were crazy to be moving here because they said the market, we're never going to get a job. But the market is definitely picking up over here. There's so many jobs, especially for engineers.
I mean, the UK government is definitely investing a lot of money in infrastructure and whatnot at the moment. There's some major projects going on, and there's a lot more in the pipeline as well. So it's a very busy time, to be quite honest with you. So it's good. It's keeping us busy.
Yeah, exciting times. So
yeah.
Just a matter of more people coming from overseas, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got plenty of roles. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of friends that are sort of making the migration over from Australia and New Zealand at the moment. Some of the big projects that are sort of slowing down in Australia, they've got similar sort of qualities and experience that some of the jobs over here require as well. So yeah, it's a good time to sort of be thinking about it, I think, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about the types of projects and the types of people that they're seeking.
Well, in London, we're extremely busy with the likes of Crossrail, and all of the Crossrail jobs include the likes of tunnelling, station upgrades, a lot of rail.
Crossrail's a major. I mean, we're talking billions and billions of pounds basically they're spending to put a new tube line right under the heart of London. It's a pretty exciting project.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. The underground itself is, it's the size of the entire Australian rail network.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable what they've put under the ground. But
it's amazing what they can achieve. I've been lucky enough to go down to the tunnels and whatnot and have a look, and it's something else. One of the biggest projects I've ever seen. It's absolutely enormous. So
I know there's also building work going on as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, London is it's quite a flat city, I suppose, at the moment. So they're definitely looking to go upwards. There's some major expansion happening out west at the moment in Earls Court and Nine Elms. That's we're talking thousands of new homes and new buildings going up at the moment. So it's definitely picking up over the last few years, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's also a lot of work with airports. Heathrow are putting in a couple more terminals, I believe. So there's a lot of build work out there also.
Yeah, right. One of the largest, if not the largest, airport in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
so really busy on the highway side of things.
Yep.
So it's not only London where we're really busy, with all of the surrounding areas that we're busy with highways. Also.
Yeah, and traditionally, I know construction work for a construction professional, you would find out where the work is, and then you would go to where the work is. Is that still the case, or is it really a matter that somebody can sort of choose the location that they would prefer and then go from there, or how would they best go about it?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. If you're looking for one specific type of job, you might have to travel for it. But if you're not picky, if you're an engineer or a surveyor wanting to do anything close to home, there's numerous to choose from at this stage. If you're looking to get on a big exciting project, obviously, if you want to do tunnelling, you've got to go to London, or there's actually a new big tunnel being built up in way up north of England called the Potash mine. That'll be kicking off pretty soon as well. But in terms of work close to home, it's there if you're not too picky.
It's really personal preference. If you want to work outside of London, we'll usually find something. But yeah, it usually depends how flexible you are.
Yeah, and so tell us in terms of the timeframes for somebody from overseas. I always say that they should get in contact with somebody like yourselves before they arrive. So assuming that, or is that still the case? Is that what you find?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We really like to speak to candidates before, months in advance, just so we know exactly, of their plans, and we can, put jobs in the pipeline and speak to them about what they're really wanting, and hopefully line something up for them as soon as they arrive. That's awesome. Our goal.
A lot of the guys that we sort of speak to, they're coming from overseas, and they're travelling on the way over, and same old story. You get a bit carried away in Europe, and you need to start working as soon as you get there to be able to pay rent. So it definitely helps both parties, I think, being in contact. We can give guys an idea of sort of where big projects are, and we can help them out with sort of visa checks and that sort of stuff as well. So it's not just it's not just about getting in contact about work as well. We can help them out with numerous other things, including CSCS cards that you'll need to work here in the UK as well, all that type of stuff.
Yep. And that's the safety card, is that right?
Sorry, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of contract work and also permanent work, and people from overseas aren't necessarily familiar with the differences there. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about that and what that means in terms of your lifestyle too, potentially.
Yeah, so my experience, I've come from Australia, which was, when I was there, I predominantly worked permanent. I'd never really heard of the freelance or the contracting side of thing. I was paid by the hour in Australia, but it was very much I had to give 3 or 4 weeks notice when I was leaving, and vice versa for the company. In London, in the UK, it's a bit different. A lot of our engineers, and predominantly what we do is freelance work, which means you how do you explain it?
Typically, we'll have a contract job. It will usually be 3 months. You could be put on an ongoing job, which could open you up to have work the whole time you're here.
Right.
It's pretty flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of our clients know that the Kiwis and the Aussies and everyone from overseas ahead of travel. So they're pretty good with, you know, holidays and leave and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you want to take a long weekend to shoot over to Europe for the weekend or whatever, you've got that flexibility because you're not a direct employee.
It's usually like a couple of days' notice. We would like to ask our candidates for 1 week's notice at least, just so it gives, you know, it's sort of out of courtesy for our clients.
So plenty of work, and it's just a matter of you know, communicating that to your employer, and then things you can work things out.
Exactly.
We do have a lot of permanent jobs also.
Right.
So there is that option as well. You know, it depends, I guess, really on what you're wanting, and it may depend on also your visa. Some candidates, you know, will only have a 2-year, the Tier 5 visa, or they may have a passport. So it's what they really want to do.
And does it really matter from the employer's perspective what visa they're on, or what you know, what they've got?
I mean, to a degree, I suppose it does.
Depending on the employer, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, if you're looking to take someone on perm and they've only got 3 months left on their visa, it's probably not worth their while. But you know, if you fresh off the boat basically, and you've got 2 years or 5 years or whatever you've got left, then absolutely. I mean, you can go perm for a year if you'd like, or you know, it very much does depend on the clients and the situation, I suppose.
Yeah. So wide range of projects. You've got highways, tunnels, buildings,
rail,
some nuclear power stations, bridges.
Yeah, we've got a really big nuclear project, Hinkley Point, which is down on the coast.
Yeah, it's incredible.
The surfers, if they want to go down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Massive project. So yeah, I wanted to find out a little bit more about the roles. I mean, I know there's a slight difference in the terminology between the UK and overseas, but if you could just give us sort of an idea of the roles that you continually deal with, I guess. Yeah,
sure. So I mean, touching on my experience as well, it's a little bit different to how things operate in Australia. Over there, it's very much you've got your surveyors who will do all the setting out and a lot of the CAD work, and project engineers sort of do all the engineering, obviously. Over here, it's sort of split up differently. Those guys are basically mashed together as one, and it's just called a site engineer. Where you're required to do a lot of the engineering paperwork, but also do the setting out. And then I suppose you find the project engineers from Australia and New Zealand and around the world, they sort of almost go up into the next level over here called section engineers. Where you're just doing the normal sort of your RAMs, your risk assessments.
UQA, you're managing all the subbies.
All the normal engineering stuff, I suppose, and then after that it sort of moves up into your senior engineers, and they're called sub-agents and agents over here, and then obviously your project managers and everything above that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of different titles.
Sorry, what was that?
There are lots of different titles.
Yeah. And I think, isn't it the case that for somebody from coming overseas that you can potentially put them into a number of roles, and really just from your point of view, knowing as much as possible about the experience that they've got is, you know, puts you in a position to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, how we work when someone arrives in the UK, we like to get them into our office as soon as possible, and we'll have a good chat to them and break down their CV and really get to know them and what they're strong at.
Right.
So we will then try and fit them into the most appropriate role that we've got, and that could be any sort of title.
Yeah.
I find that the roles over here they're almost pigeonholed. I find that Kiwis, Aussies, and everyone else from around the world, we're fairly adaptable and whatnot. We've got a broad range of skills. So it's also, as Lucy touched on, we get you into the office to find out what the candidate is actually looking for over here. A project engineer back home might have done the QA, some of the even the costings, the planning, everything like that. Whereas over here, you've you've got your project engineers, you've got your section engineers, you've got QA engineers, you've got planners, you've got QSs. So you can, the Kiwis and especially the Aussies and the Kiwis, we can sort of adapt and.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even planning, for example, is a profession in itself, isn't it? It's like
yeah, exactly.
And people are just referred to as planners, and I've seen many engineers end up in those roles, and it's awesome. Just the size of the sheer size of the market over there, it's
exactly.
And the opportunities are just incredible. How quickly can you get somebody a role? I mean, I know that's a very hard thing to answer because it's different for everybody, but just in general.
I mean, depending on location, say central London, depending on experience, obviously, depending on the time of the year.
And depending on how picky the candidate's going to be.
Often we get guys into our office in the morning. We'll have a chat with them, find out what they want to do, and we can potentially have a couple of options for them by that afternoon.
Right.
And then that's not always the case, but it's definitely not unheard of.
Yeah, we have some candidates that we line up a job before they arrive. Like we will have them a Skype interview, and then they'll start within the week they arrive. They can come and interview with us, as Pete said, and we can have an interview for them that day. Or sometimes it, can take a couple of weeks, depending on the market, the roles, what they're wanting, and where they live. Yeah.
Yeah, and what level of experience do they need to really be able to get a job as quickly as that?
I think it can be a lot harder for graduates. So if you've just graduated and you move here, it is really tricky. I mean, it's hard for UK graduates to get jobs. So I probably would advise to get, at least a couple of years experience before you move to the UK.
Yeah.
It depends on clients again, but some clients are quite funny about UK experience. Some of them like to have
one job or one project.
Yeah, so we quite often tell our candidates, if it's a struggling time of the year, or if it's quite a slow market and you've been offered a role, just sort of jump at it for a few months, get some UK experience on your CV, and then from there you'll find that a lot more doors are open to you.
Awesome advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just I think it's that familiarity that clients want to see. That person's got that UK experience on their CV, and that it seems to open doors, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do have some really good relationships with our clients, and they know what we do, and they know that we, in the past and still now, we specialise in antipodeans. And they know how good they are and how hard they work, so they quite often jump a CV and would into someone.
Yeah, I mean it's more a case that they're after people that can do the job and they've got the right attitude, and
Yeah, exactly.
And it's awesome. It works really well. So tell us a little bit more, I guess, in terms of. I sort of want to put you on the spot a little bit as far as rates go. And I know there's contract and permanent, so maybe you could just separate that out and just give us some ballpark figures how that would work out.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's always negotiable. We have different clients. It depends on location and the type of role. Obviously, freelance the rates are predominantly higher than permanent. So just as examples, a site engineer, they'd be paid from around £18 an hour to about £22 an hour. And then the section engineers would be 22 to 25 an hour. Sub-agents, 25 to 28, 30. Agents 30 plus, and then it's from there it's sort of negotiable, the higher roles.
it's very much dependent, obviously, on experience and also the client, the locations. Traditionally, London pays higher than the Midlands and the rest of the UK, but there's a bit of a change over the last 6 months where it's almost a level playing field at the moment. But going back to sort of, I suppose, the rates, the perm side of things, site engineer, you're looking at around 26k to maybe 34 as a site engineer, 1,000 a year, 34k. Section, 32 to 37, senior 35 to 40. After that, once you get to your sort of sub-agents, agents, you're looking at 35 plus. And again, that's, it's very dependent on locations, experience, clients.
Yeah, and it's just base salary, isn't it? And then there'll be...
Yeah, obviously with permanent there's a lot of other...
Yeah.
With permanent there's obviously a lot of other elements that are, built into the package.
Yeah, of course. I mean, sometimes they offer, travel, living away from home allowances, you've got vehicles, phones, laptops, all that normal jazz, really. Yeah.
Which all helps depending on what what you want to do, I guess. That's awesome. I think we're getting, we're really starting to get a good feeling for how it all works here, guys, and how, how somebody can make the most of the opportunity. But since you guys are from overseas and now you've actually gone through the process yourself, what would you tell somebody from overseas? Maybe I could get both of your answers for this one, because I think this is what everyone wants to hear. What would you tell somebody coming from overseas that they should do before they come over?
Oh, definitely get in touch. I mean, obviously you've got to get your visa sorted, find out where you want to base yourself, have an idea in your head of what you want to do, if you're here to further your career or if you're here to bugger off every second weekend. It's completely up to you. I mean, I came over with the view of doing a lot of travel, seeing both UK and Europe. I'm only here for a limited time, so I'm only on a 2-year visa. I had all those things planned out, and I've seen the majority of Europe now. I've got about 6 months to go on my visa, and I suppose just have an idea in your head and get in touch. I suppose that's the main thing. Just start asking questions. Yeah,
absolutely. Lucy, what would you say?
I think Pete covered the question. I do have one thing that I'd like to advise would be a couple of CV tips. It's clients over here like to see a project-based CV. So if you can put in obviously just specific projects you've worked on, and just bullet point your main duties and responsibilities. Make it quite a small, a short CV is better than a long novel.
I think, if you're going for freelance work, especially no longer than probably 2 pages. Permanent's a little bit different. You can delve in a little bit deeper, but I wouldn't get too carried away. Sharp, really.
Isn't it a case that with somebody's CV, you're really able to sort of help get that to where it needs to be for each client anyway? So they just need to really make sure that they get across to you what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also really handy if we have written references. If they can just buy them through, for freelance side of things, cover letters, that we don't need them, just the CV, a couple of references.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Great advice. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Cool. That's awesome, guys. And just one final question before we wrap it up. What's the best way for somebody to apply and get in touch with you?
I mean, we've got our website, comeupuk.com, or I think we're also on. I think we've got a Facebook page, don't we?
Yeah, I think we're getting one.
We're on that way. We're all on LinkedIn. We've also got Carmichael's Australia. Our director over there, Pete Labour, he's a very good contact if you're in that part of the world. He was actually over here for about 10 or 15 years, and he sort of set up the company as well. So he's a very good contact to get in contact with.
Yep. And of course, they can also apply through Work Gateways, and there's jobs from you guys on there on a continual basis, and through our Register with Agencies page.
Yeah.
So, listen, guys, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. It's just been great to have you on, and really, pick your brain. And a lot of people are going to be able to, get a lot of great information from this. So thanks very much.
No worries. Thanks for the opportunity, Quinn.
Thank you.
Worries. And talk to you soon.